And you know what I didn't plug into? The hard wire, but I will do that right now. Although on a Friday, just do that. All right, so let's start getting our supplies ready, ladies. Hi there, Girl Scouts. This is Candace Blair, Girl Experience Manager of Girl Scouts of Central California South. Thank you for joining us for our How to Paint a Sloth and Goal Setting activity. I'm here to help you get ready for this workshop, so let's begin. First off, please change your name to your first name only and your Girl Scout level. Then place your name in the chat. That's how we take attendance. We're in webinar mode, which means only us facilitators, the ones teaching the class and answering your questions, are going to be able to share our screens, be able to talk, and we're the only ones that you're going to really see. If you have any questions, it's very important that you put them in the chat or you use the Q&A function. Raising your hand will not alert us that you have a question. So remember, put it in the chat or use the Q&A. Now, let's talk about the supplies you need. You should be getting these items ready. We are going to start right on time, so please be ready. You'll need paper towels, some paper plates, or something to put your paint on. You'll need a variety of brushes, but 4 sizes will do. A kind of large one about the size of your thumb, a medium-sized one, probably the size of your pointer finger, and 2 small ones. You'll need brown paint. If you have light green paint and dark green paint, that's great. If you don't have 2 different colors, that's all right too. We'll work it out. Blue paint, black paint, white paint, and yellow paint. And acrylic or washable is fine. You're going to want a little bit of tape. You will need a pencil, something to cover your art space in. Remember, we want your parents to let you do this again someday. And you'll need some water to wash off your paintbrushes in, and you're going to want that sloth printable if you had a chance to print it out. All right, I'm going to leave this up for a couple more seconds, and then we are going to get started. All right, so one of the things that we're going to cover tonight is that we are really excited about bringing an activity that brings together the fall product that we all love to eat and sell. I mostly do the eating part, but I love English bar, or that English bar toffee is the best. So the other thing that we want to bring together is our goal setting. So we like to have goals in life, right? We have certain things that we want to accomplish. So let's say you play an instrument and you want to make first chair, or you want to learn how to play a certain piece. Or let's say that you are somebody who is really interested in learning a new craft or something. You set a goal to do that. Well, that's basically all that goal setting is. Sometimes goal setting is, very complicated, where you have lots of steps and everything. But we like to think about in Girl Scouts when we talk about goal setting is it's what you want to do over a short term or a long term. And sometimes it's a goal that you have for yourself, or sometimes it's a goal that you and your troop have. So a good example of this is, I know of a troop in our area. We're in Central California, by the way. So like if California was a human, we're kind of like in the belly button of California. We're next to Yosemite. If next to is like an hour and a half, I can get to the gateway of Yosemite if I drive for an hour and a half. Anyway, so there's a troop that lives near, or that is in our area, and they've been setting goals for over 4 years now. And their goal is just to sell enough cookies and fall product to be able to go on a very special trip when they are all in high school. And so every year they have to evaluate like, okay, so how did they do last year? And then what is their goal for this year? And what they've done is they've taken this long-term goal, which is like going on a special trip together when they're in high school, and they've broken it up into like the kind of short-term things, because although it feels like a long time, cookie season is for us is like 5 weeks, and then fall product is like 2 months. So they don't have that long of a time to be able to do that fundraising together and have that time where they get to really focus in on something. So tonight, when we talk about goal setting, we're using this as art to talk about sloths and everything, but it's also about goal setting. So I want to show you my finished product. I did this a couple days ago. So let's see, actually, you know what? I'll hold it up like this. So your finished product will look something like this, I'm sure. And then underneath, I didn't flip my screen. Underneath, you're going to write my goal, and you can write whatever your goal is for your fall product sale. So I'm not selling fall product. I'm an adult. I don't sell fall product, but I do buy it. So, you know, but it's really important that I sit down, and if I have a goal for fall product, maybe it's not about selling. Maybe I have a goal that I want to make sure and give at least 5 of my neighbors a great fall product. And so that means I'm going to have to buy at least 5 fall products. Or maybe I know that there are girls that are selling, and I want to make sure that I share my email address with them so that they can, you know, reach out to me. Okay, so let's get started. If you have all those supplies, great. If you don't, then we're going to be taking breaks throughout this. It's only an hour, but it's a fast hour, so we're going to work kind of fast. If you're worried that you're falling behind, I literally have the copy of when I was doing this premiering on YouTube at 8 p.m. tonight. So if you miss something and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, it's okay. Don't worry. We're not doing brain surgery. Not tonight. We're doing that next week, right? Yeah, my co-hosts are saying yes, brain surgery next week. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to have is your printout. So let me spotlight my, I almost called it my dash cam. I don't think that's what you're supposed to call it. My doc cam, that's what the teachers say. I know it's upside down. I tried to fix it in the workroom. So this is my doc cam. So if you did not get the printable, oh yeah, by all means, if you guys need to go potty, go potty. If you didn't get the printout, don't worry. I'm going to show you how to draw this really simply. And also, if you don't have like an official, like a real canvas or anything, don't worry about it. This is for your enjoyment, for your entertainment, and for your goal setting. So our sloth friend here is sitting on a branch. So you want to get your pencil. This is only if you don't have your the printout. You're going to want to pick halfway down whatever you have. So let's do this. Move my camera a little bit up. Oh, that's better. Okay. So you're going to want to start about halfway down the page, and you're going to lightly draw a soft sloping branch.
I can't see your camera. Your
too far away.
Pinned. No, yours is pinned. Your face is pinned.
Face. There we go. Better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So I'm going to need to move my camera down because you can't see my pencil. I made it too light. So I'll tell you what, girls, I'm going to draw dark with my pencil. You draw light. Okay. So you're going to start about halfway, and you're going to draw just a soft, sloping branch. Okay. Now you get to almost the end of the page, and then you're just going to draw a little branch going up. Now, how tall you make that branch is up to you. I'm going to go about, let's say, 5.5 inches. And then I'm just going to leave that branch open, and I'm going to draw down. Branches get wider, right? And then it's going to come back out. Okay? You see where I'm going with this? And then we're gonna start below where we started on other side, other side, other side. There we go, on this side. And we're going to make the base. All right. Now, if I was doing this on my own, I would draw it nice and soft. But because I want you to be able to see it, I'm drawing it nice and thick. Well, I guess dark. And once you get close to the edge of your paper, you're going to draw down. And again, we're drawing just that little twiggy branch that's coming off. No biggie. All right, just like that. Now we're going to put some leaves and stuff coming off of that eventually. Don't worry about all the swirls and vines. That's not going to matter right now. Now, for your sloth face is basically going to end right here where this branch is, okay? So a sloth face is very oval in shape. So if you don't know how to draw an oval, you can actually draw 2 circles. I'm just going to draw an oval right here. And then our sloth face has an interior face. So this outer part is going to be furry. And then this inner part is going to have this almost like a heart. Okay, coming around. But the bottom of the heart is flat. I'm not sure what else would have that shape. So I'm going to bring that a little closer to my camera so you can see it. And then our sweet sloth eyes are kind of like a teardrop turned to its side, okay? So you're gonna go around, make that teardrop, and then come, whoop, I kind of made it a little small there. And then he has a little interior, and a pupil. You know what, if you wanna make yours a he, you can make yours a he. I'm gonna make my sloth's pupil much bigger than that. Definitely doesn't look quite right, but once you paint it, it'll be fine. And then on this side, the teardrop just doesn't quite point as much. Okay. In fact, I'm going to erase that right there. You'll notice I don't have any special tools. This is just your regular pink eraser, regular pencil. Arts and crafts don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be fancy. Our little sloth has a little tuft of hair. So I'm going to put that on there. And then for the back of the sloth is almost like a cat, you know, except instead of going down in the back, it goes a little bit up. Okay. So I would even bring that up a little bit more. And there are 4 legs, and the outside leg is hanging off the branch like this. I'm gonna bring this.
A lot of the girls are saying it's upside down for them, but that's because you're drawing it towards you, so that's why it looks upside down.
Yeah, I can't draw it in reverse and upside down. I did not get that skill.
So girls, you're just gonna have to try your best.
You can also use the link and look at the printable. I'm going to use that plain pink eraser. Boop. Boop. So I'm going to tell you what paints you're going to get ready first while we're doing this. So the first paint you're going to want is a green paint. And if all you have is dark green, that's okay. That's actually all I had to begin with too. I just happened to find, unfortunately, I think I may have not done enough of a leg on that one. So let's talk about our sloth's tummy. So our sloth has a nice round tummy that comes down onto the branch and stops just, JK, that's a long belly. I'm going to make it even shorter than that. There we go. But not so steep. And out of where your belly ends is where your next sloth limb begins. That actually looks right this time. All right. Now let's go back and fix. I think I was trying to make a deer sloth. Should we make a hybrid?
On YouTube, they're saying that your drawing is really light. It's hard to see. Can you use a darker color?
I
Darker
can
crayon?
show them this picture. You can't use a darker crayon. So we were at the belly.
This recording will be on YouTube later, right? For the girls that want to go over the instructions again? Okay.
Yeah. So I just got done drawing the belly and I was going back to fix my legs. So regardless of the colors that you have tonight, sloths have kind of a variety of colors, and we'll be using brown tonight, but if you have gray, gray is fine. If your sloth is blue, that's good too. I can't see where it starts. You want to see the sloth's face? So you can see how the sloth's head is very oval in shape, and the sloth's inner face is like that heart that I was talking about. Oh, I just thought that the sloth's head looks like a little pomegranate. All right, I'm gonna leave this up for a couple more seconds. We gotta get painting soon. Just gonna make sure we didn't get any more emails. Okay, good. So while this is up, I'm gonna leave that just like that, and I'm gonna get my.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the templates to put it up on the YouTube channel, and I'm following the link to the Fall Product Rally tab, and I can't find the templates there. So if I can't find it.
Oh, it's at the bottom of the actual
to
paint
scroll.
night. It'll be on
Yeah.
the real bottom of it. You have to actually click on the actual paint night.
Thank you, Karina.
You're welcome. So if you go to the annual events tab on our activities page, scroll down to the Fall Product Rally Week, scroll down on that to Friday, October 2nd, Sloth Paint Night Friday. And you should see all the supplies and the templates.
Sorry guys, I realize you're looking at that.
I guess I just must be doing this wrong because I don't see the supplies in the template.
So I actually put the link for the actual template in the chat box right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're gonna need to start getting some paint ready. So this is gonna be your dark green, okay? I don't know what mine's called. Hunter green. Ooh, exotic. And I'm not using fancy plates. These are just good because they have like an edge. And I used about a tablespoon of paint, definitely less than an ounce. And then next to my dark green, I'm putting about, I would say, a teaspoon of white paint, okay? And the first brush I'm gonna wanna use is my biggest brush. So like I have, that just dried. I have a brush like this. So that's, you know, a little smaller than my thumb. I also have kind of a flat brush. And just talking about supplies, like don't think that you have to buy super fancy supplies. I use these. These come from the Dollar Tree, which is a dollar store where we live. So don't think that you have to have super fancy stuff. So the technique that you're going to want to use to start painting your background is that you're going to take your dark green and your white, your white, and you're going to combine them, but not like this, right? We're not going to mix them. We're going to take the green and we're going to start kind of, we call it loading the brush. So you start painting the paint into the brush. And then you have quite a bit of paint on that side. And now we're just going to dab into the white. And now you're dragging that white down. And you're going to start loading that brush with the combination of the white and the green. Now this color is going to be our background, okay? So sloths live in the jungle. And sometimes the jungle is light, sometimes the jungle is dark. But for us, our jungle is going to be a little bit of both. We're going to think of our sloth as living in a space where there is light and dark. So I have my brush that's loaded up with paint. And the action that you're going to want to mimic those shadows is an X. So watch me. I brush, right? But I want to get the rest of this paint off my brush. I don't have quite enough. I'm just going to go through and just make X's. Okay. I'm going to load some more paint on my brush. Let me show you this one more time. Okay. Like this. And I want to get, actually, I'm going to get both sides really saturated with that paint. And the reason is we are going to be painting this whole background right now. So the very first part is us painting the background. Now, if you want to go back when we're all done tonight and go and fill in some details and make things a little more defined, that's fine because your paint will be dry. Okay, so you can kind of see that there is a difference between this paint and that paint. So we're going to kind of start blending these two areas together. So think about what could be growing in the jungle. Let's see. Could be bushes, right? There probably will be trees like the one that our sloth is in. There could be vines. We're going to paint some of those later if we get some time to do it. And as we get closer to that tree, we want to make sure and leave that open because we're going to actually take a smaller brush and do the same technique. We're going to do a smaller brush so that we have a little bit more control. Okay. Now I like to paint all the way down to the bottom because when I hang this painting up to remind me of what my goals are for our fall product sale, I want to see the painting and not see the edge of it. I'm just going to keep going just like that. All right. So as you can see, some spots are a little darker than others, but I haven't started swirling my paint. I'm still taking from my two areas. So I have my, oh, that's really hard to see the white. Sorry, guys. So I still have my white. I still have my green. And I'm going to hope that my ceiling fan doesn't dry my paints. I had that problem the other day. So just like that. And as you start getting to the edges, if you want to change the texture a little bit, remember, there's more than one thing growing. So if you're not exactly doing this the same way that I am, there must be something else growing where you are. That's okay. Now, something I like to tell girls is that you should never say, I am not good at art. I think there's a lot of different things that you can study and practice that you may be really good at. You just haven't found your thing. All right? There's a famous saying, Every child's an artist until they're told they're not. Well, I think that goes for adults too. Okay, so I'm just gonna switch over to a smaller brush. And again, this is just a brush that I got from the Dollar Tree. And it is like one of those brushes that you would get for watercolor, I guess. Like, you know, those little inexpensive watercolor sets. I'm gonna load my brush up just like as if it was my big brush. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Focus and get into the light. Okay. And now I'm gonna show you how to get close in there. You're gonna make those X's still. You're just gonna be a little bit careful. And you know what? If you kind of get over onto the log, not a big deal, because guess what color that log's gonna be? It's gonna be brown. I'm just gonna paint over it. So I hope everybody is painting their background right now. You're gonna need to paint it on the bottom and on the top, okay? So
Candace, do you have any suggestions on how they can get the template onto the canvas?
I do, actually. So if you've printed it already, I'm gonna try not to paint myself. So let me move this out of the way. So continue painting your background. And then I'm gonna switch my camera. All right, so hold on. Okay, so how I did this one, the easiest way to do it, okay, I didn't get paint on me, is that you actually take your template and you put it behind your painting and then you hold it up to the light like this. Well, you hold it up to the light, I'm gonna get green paint on my face. You hold it up to the light like this so you can see through it. So let's see, you can kind of see through it. Now he's got a double face, that's two sloths in one. Okay, the other way that you can do it, I'm gonna set this lovely fella down, is that you take your pencil and there it is. You trace all the parts that you want to put onto your canvas. So let's say we want to do all of the sloth body. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark. Okay, well, don't do that. I'm going to mark on the sloth, mark on the sloth, mark on the sloth, all the way around. And then you can put that onto a piece of paper. And then you actually just trace that back onto, let me switch over here. Okay, so now I'm just tracing it again like that onto my paper. Okay, well that didn't help because I drew it on the soft guy. Let's do it this way. All right. So you color on the line with your regular pencil. If you have a graphite pencil, that's good, but you don't have to have one. I mean, I promise. Okay, so we just colored on this part right here. I don't know if you can see this. I just colored on this part right here. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And so what it should do is it should transfer all of that lead that we put on that side to this side. You can just barely see it. But if you do that, then it actually transfers over. But the really easy way is to put the outline behind your canvas and then hold it up to the light and trace it. So like this one, that's all I did is I had it like this and I held it up to the light like that and just drew along the lines. Okay, so I am going to get as far as I can with, so Elodie, you can't see anybody's screen or you can't see your own screen. You used to think Leonardo da Vinci was a girl? That's good. that could work. You know, a lot of things were invented by girls and women, and they were never given credit for them. So it probably was a famous woman that helped Leonardo da Vinci, and we may never know.
Can you show the other brush that you use, not the little one? They want to see the size of it.
Yeah, so it's got paint on it. So that's that one. I can put it up here. And again, it doesn't have, I wish I could tell you like it's brush size number 12. They're from the dollar store. So they're not gonna be, you can't see my screen, my face, so girls, we're on webinar mode, so you're not gonna see each other. You're only gonna see us, the presenters, okay? I'm just going to keep going with my background. I have a couple of minutes.
They're wanting to see your camera that shows what you're painting instead of your
And
face.
they don't want the drawing anymore? I'll have to cover the drawing.
Here, I'll fix it. There, that's what they wanted.
Okay. Well, I was just leaving the drawing open, that's why. So again, I'm just using that X. Let's see if I twist it a little bit. Get all the way down to the bottom. Now, I discovered something when I made my practice one, that the video that's on YouTube, well, the one that starts in less than an hour. Yeah, hold on just a second. I'll show the sloth's head again.
Do they paint the top too? I'm assuming, do they paint the top two green, like your top part of the canvas?
Yeah, the whole background is going to be green. I just started on the bottom so they could see a little bit better. Oops, I painted her leg. So when I painted the practice one, I discovered that my brown is like perfect for a log color, but very dark for a sloth color. So I will show you how to get a little bit of a lighter color, but I bet you can already guess what my secret ingredient is. It's white paint. So there's the head, so you guys can see it again. You're painting the top of your painting again. So you're going to paint the bottom part of the background and the top part of the background. Now, if you paint the bottom part and it's a little bit darker than the top, that's okay, because guess what? That's how shadows and light work, right? It's lighter at the top than it is at the bottom. I don't have white paint. I only have dark brown. That's all right. Don't worry about it. You can probably mix the, a little bit of another color in with your brown and then make your log kind of like, mix it with some yellow or maybe some of the green.
Can you show the final products again, the finished one? Because I want to take a picture of it.
Yes. Can they see this camera?
Put it down on your cell phone one.
It won't fit.
Oh, well.
I changed the camera. Hold it by your face again.
I guess I have to have my face on it.
Your robot-y. Yeah, that's good.
Am I still a robot?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Am I a robot now?
No, you're good.
Okay. So
right, am I still a robot?
Little bit.
Do I still have an echo? Yes.
That sounds good.
I have an echo on my end. Okay, but you guys can hear me? All right, we'll move on. Okay, so this is my green and brown mixture, green and white mixture for the. All right, is that better? Yeah, okay. We will do it this way then. You can't figure out how to do the sloth head. Okay. So the best thing I can offer you is that you should, there we go. Draw an oval. Okay, so that's all this sloth head is essentially an oval. So slothy here, and then that heart inside there. Is it the eyes? Okay, so she'll come back to us and respond and let us know what specifically she needs help with. So what we're going to work on next is when you have all of your background painted, it's going to have all of these different shades of green. And the reason is that you're going to add probably more paint to your paper plate and add more things to it. So it'll look nice and layered like that. What we're going to work on next, though, is we're going to paint our log, okay? We want our log to get a chance to dry so we can work on the sloth. And so the log, to start with, is just dark brown. Snow cut out. I'll put you a little tapey tape there. All right. Now, I may have to switch plates because this gets a little dried. Okay. Whew. So this is kind of a medium brown, you can see. Okay. Burnt sienna. Yeah, I didn't have burnt sienna. I thought I did, and I couldn't find those craft brushes. Now, if you have a smaller brush, this is where it would be good. Like this is what I would call a medium brush here. And it has a flat edge. And the reason why you would like it to have a flat edge is we're going to get into some of the angle of the log. And that way you can kind of create an edge there. So we're going to get through this fast because I want to show you how to add the detail to the log and the detail to your sloth. Okay. So I've got my brown, and again, I'm loading that paint, and we're just doing the pure brown this time, just brown, okay? So you're gonna go through and you're actually just gonna fill this log in, and you wanna be able to have a nice, rich coverage of your log. We don't wanna paint our sloth quite yet. Okay. I forgot that I was painting upside down for a second. I thought I had painted the sloth's belly. Oops. So we're gonna paint that all the way, just like that. Okay. So I'm gonna work on this section of the log pretty quickly, only because I want to show you how to add some texture to this, and I need it to dry. Now we're going to paint the sloth right after this. And what's fun about the sloth is that we're going to do one coat that's kind of like the undercoat. I don't know if any of you girls have pets, but I have 2 dogs. I have one dog that has kind of a like thick undercoat, and then the other dog is just like, you know, just like short haired and doesn't have any really undercoat. But that's kind of how sloths are. Sloths live in the jungle where it rains a lot, and so they have to have good fur coverage. So what we're going to be painting first is actually their undercoat. And that's the first layer that keeps them warm and toasty when they're hanging out in a tree in the jungle, waiting for the ice cream man to come by. Oh wait, sloths don't need ice cream. I know we have a lot of girls from all over the country. Where we live, we have all kinds of people that, well, I used to. We don't get as many, but like we have the elote guy, who's like the guy that sells corn. We have the shaved ice people. We have the guys that have all the yummy snacks, plus the ice cream man. Love snacking going on. So that's it for our branch. We'll go ahead and let that dry. But right now I'm going to show you how to get started on your sloth. So I'm just going to leave that right there. And with the brown paint that you had from your log, if you have some white, you can, the ice cream man comes, oh yeah, we have goats and ducks and chickens. What? Amazing. Okay, so with this, we're going to mix a little bit of white for me because this is going to be the same color as my log, which I guess, you know what, if you were a sloth, that would be an awesome thing to be because you would blend right in with the log. No one would ever know you're there. So I'm just going to make my brown a little bit lighter. And I like to add in small batches. So if I have a tablespoon of paint or like a 1/4 ounce of paint, I only put like a few drops in there, but I know I'm going to make this pretty light. So we're going to add that just like that. I had to go through my craft paint because I hadn't painted in so long. I found some that were, well, I guess past their prime is the right thing to say. So like our log, the very first coat that you put on your sloth is going to be just basically the base coat. So you can see I'm just painting very soft strokes. We just want to fill in there and kind of see where my slothy, which, you know, I'm starting to think she needs a name. And I kind of want her name to be something that starts with S. I don't know what it is yet. So you're just going to paint your sloth nice, even brush strokes. Because what we're going to do on top of this is what's going to give her her texture. Okay? The thing is, we don't want to get too far out of our lines there just because we don't want to mix with, let's see, there we go. We don't want to mix with the background that would be here if I had gotten that far. Okay? And I don't know about you guys, but my log is already dry. So I'm going to get through my sloth. So I don't normally paint with acrylic. I love watercoloring. In fact, there's a group of, oops. Did you guys see what I did there? I started going brown with brown with brown there. There we go. We'll just make that. Here I am. Happy little trees. There's a group of women at my church, and they have a whole watercoloring club. And when I retire, that will be my hobby. That will be the club I take over. That'll be my club. All right. Do some sloth legs here. Right there. And if you have the same shade of brown and you use it for your sloth and your log, it's really fine because once everything's dry, you can actually outline everything with your black marker. So later on when everything's dry and you write what your goal is, you can do the same thing with the body of your sloth. So I was gonna do that with my finished painting over here. Just didn't get to it. I like the way that looks too. Now, the only thing about painting around the sloth's head is that I would kind of make that kind of round, so round strokes, kind of like around the circle. There we go.
They asked if they do the head like that too.
Yeah, you're gonna use this brown to paint the furry part, not the actual face where you can see their expression and their eyes and their nose and all of their facial features. That's actually going to be a lighter brown, but we are going to use some of your brown. Okay, and for my girls that didn't have any white, what I would do is I'd actually just wait until you have white paint to paint your sloth's face, and that way you can kind of get it the way you want it, or just leave it really white and you can paint their eyes and their nose so they can still have little facial features. Let's see if I can get that a little bit closer. So you can see I'm going around his face, her face. Hey, you know what it is? I'm around boys all day. All right, I'm just going to fill in those little bits just like that. Okay, so that again is just your base coat for your sloth. Now that log that your sloth is sitting on is very plain. So while your sloth is drying, that base coat is drying, you can take some of your black. So I just have plain black here. I'm just going to do, let's do a couple of drops. Okay. You'll need more black later, but for like the eyes and the nose. But what you can do is see there's just literally just a couple of drops. And I take another brush that's like from a watercolor set, again, really inexpensive. And what you're going to do is you're going to lightly add, hold on, it's too much. Add a drop. Okay. So you're going to lightly add a little bit of detail. So think about what a log looks like. Is a log perfect? No. It has imperfections, right? It has injuries because sometimes logs or limbs fall, right? So maybe it has a swirl. Maybe it has a scar from where it fell. Maybe it has a little gnaw mark here because this sloth likes to chew on the log right there. We're just adding texture, okay? And now we're gonna take a little bit of that leftover brown and mix it with that black. So just a little bit. And we're gonna start blending that black into that brown. Don't blend everything, but blend it a little. Get there. Sorry, guys. Is it better if I do it like this? No, you can't see it as closely. So blending with your brown, blending. That's what's great about painting things that are in nature is that even if you had let's say we had twin sloths, it still wouldn't be exactly the same because that's just how nature is, right? I don't know about you guys. I have one brother that's, really good at keeping up with themselves and the other one that's kind of a mess. Animals are too. All right, so we're just adding some texture. Now, if you have white, you can take white and do the same thing, but you may want to let that paint dry a little bit just because now you've got brown and black swirling around. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to add a little bit of texture to your sloth fur, because I know we don't have that much more time together. And for that, I'm going to switch to a clean plate. All right, I am going to use this brush because I like that brush. So more brown, more brown. Well, I was going to say a teaspoon, but more than that came out. We are going to add white, and we're also going to add just a couple of drops of yellow. And the reason why we add yellow is that, just like I was talking about, animals have different, coats and stuff. And so for our sloth, they're going to have a predominantly brown coat. They're going to have lighter bits, but they're also going to have a bit of yellow, partly because sloths like to be able to blend. They may pick up what's around them. So, depending on what is, I don't want that brush to go in there. Depending on what is around them, they may be picking up pollen. Okay. Now we're going to use a different technique than we did last time to paint our sloth. And I'm using that same size brush that's like the watercolor size brush. And we're going to think of our sloth as having tufts of hair. So you know what that means? Kind of like how hair grows. Oh, that's not light enough. I just realized.
One of the girls asked lemon yellow or yellow med.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Mine is actually lemon yellow, but your brown is probably going to be a different shade than mine, just because I think we're all adding. There we go. Sorry, when my brown came out, it came out like, hello, I'm brown and I'm here. There we go. So we're not going to do stripes. We're going to do, let's see, we're going to do like hair growing out of your sloth. And every time you pick up a little bit of paint from your palette or your paper plate, your very sophisticated paper plate, you're going to pick up a little bit of white, I'm sure, or maybe some of that yellow. And what's going to happen is you're going to give their coat, your cutie pie sloth, a little bit of a variety. So what's important about this technique is you want to start on one end and work towards the other end, okay? So I started here at kind of the shoulder, and I can work towards the midsection, but you just have to think about the direction that fur grows. So if you have animals, you can kind of look at them and kind of decide like, oh, maybe this is
Candace, can you lift up your canvas for a minute so one of the girls can see what it looks like without paint? They want the tracing one right underneath.
Oh, so sorry. Okay.
There you go. That's what they want to look at.
I didn't get a chance to do this with the other one. I think that she didn't have as much texture as this one will.
Can you flip it around?
So if you are from another area and you want to get off, that's fine. Like I said, the recording is on Premiere to start at 8. So you can come back tomorrow and watch it then. or you can stay on, and I'm gonna teach you how to do the toes and how to do the sloth face. So I'm gonna give you a couple more minutes. But you can kind of see how we're doing the texture on there.
Okay, that's good. Then we can go back to painting.
So now we have our sloth face. Now that's the part that everybody is worried about. We don't want to mess up the face, right? Well, guess what? If you mess up the face, it's okay because it's just paint. Just paint over it. It's fine. I'm sure there's plenty of master painters that have painted right over what they messed up. It's all right. So what you're going to use is the brown, the white, and the yellow that you had for the sloth's body that you were just adding that texture to. And you're just going to add a bit more white to it. In fact, I think I might add a bit more. And the best way to test this is to put a little bit on there, or you can put your paintbrush near the face and decide, does that look light enough? I don't know. I think I want just a drop or two. So let's see if I can get not a river. Ah, there we go. That's about 6 drops probably. Ah, there we go. The thing about painting like this is that you don't really know exactly how much paint you need. The right answer is probably a little bit more. So now we have a light brown that goes around. And this you want to try to make as smooth as possible. And the best way to do that is to ensure that you have plenty of paint on your brush. So let me try and get, there we go. And then actually lower the camera and then angle that just a little bit better. So you want to try and get it as smooth as possible. And again, we're at the stage right now where you can definitely fix it. The only way that you could really mess up this painting is if, like, I don't know, you were doing this by your pool and you fell in. I think that would be not repairable. So we're just going to go around where
Sloths know how to swim.
That's true. And they're very good swimmers. They're good climbers and good swimmers. They're not good at doing taxes. They're not good at math homework, so don't try to make them do that. But the rest of the stuff they're good at.
They're not good at being at the DMV.
No. I love that movie.
That's a great movie. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. I never get that sloth at the DMV, but I always get that sloth at the grocery store. Oh man, every time. You want to make sure you don't paint their nose yet, because their nose is going to either be dark brown or black. You can decide. And you can see mine is a little bit light, like it's not quite as thick as I want it because I can see the canvas through. But don't worry about it. You can do another coat. You just want to make sure you let this one dry. And where we are, it is pretty warm outside still, so it'll probably dry quickly here. Where we live in California, it's hot almost all the way through until Halloween. And then the time change happens and it's officially fall, even though calendar-wise it's been fall for a little while. Okay. So that's how to do the face. And you can make it lighter. This sloth, I did lighter. So this one will dry a little bit darker. What I can do too is do a second coat on the face and just put more white in it. It's not bad. Not too big of a deal. Now for the mask, you know, I love how sloths have masks like raccoons. Now for the mask here, we're going to use a darker brown, and I'm going to paint right over where that pupil was, okay? And the reason is because we're going to let that dry all the way, and then we're going to put the pupil on top of it, okay? Thank you for my friend sticking around. Okay, just like that. And if you have a nice fine tip brush, what you can do right now is, oh, I don't have a fine tip brush left. I used them all, but I do have a pointy one. Is you can actually go back and really line that up if it bothers you. And if it doesn't bother you, don't worry about it. It's all good in the hood. Okay. Now let's talk about that nose and the mouth and the claws. Now I only have one. No, I've got 2 legs that I can put claws on. Okay, first, let's do this. I'm gonna keep holding that just like that so you can see it. Let's work on our sloth's nose and mouth so we can stay on his face. Yeah, just probably 3 or 4 drops of black. My black, for some reason, is very thick. Okay, so if you have an unsteady hand, all right, if you are worried that you are going to just, you know, blah, all over their face, it's okay. Here's a trick. Take the end of your paintbrush, so not the brushy side, but the hard, I think this is wood, hard wood side, and you dip it in your paint, okay? So watch me. What's not wet here? There we go. That's not wet. Okay, so you're gonna dip it in the black, just like that. So you have a little dot, see? Little dot, just like that. Okay, so you can actually use just the end of your brush and dot along the edge of the nose. If you think that you're really going to go crazy and accidentally mess this up, you can use the edge of it, and you can use it like it's a pencil almost, and just kind of color it in, okay? Same thing with the smile. All right, so that's that technique, and you can do it with your mouth, your smile too. Although I think if you're really nervous about painting the smile, I would just wait and draw it in with a permanent marker myself. But that's just Miss Candace's idea. And this works really well if you're worried about putting the pupil on. So you can go dot, 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 and then kind of make a circle. Okay? Make almost a perfect pupil there. See? Not too bad, right? All right, so, but if you're gonna use the brush, all you wanna do is get a little bit of black on the very tip. And then you're gonna go ahead and fill in that smile, and you're gonna fill in their nose. I'm gonna finish the nose and give her another pupil because she doesn't look quite right now, and I don't wanna leave her like this. There we go. All right. Now I do have a technique for her toes. Now our sloth is a 2-toed sloth. So there are 3-toed sloths and there are 2-toed sloths. Now our 3-toed sloth is really special. She's endangered. She happens to be in an area that is, you know, one of those places where people want to be, people want to build stuff. And so it makes it hard for sloths to, you know, have a habitat that is undisturbed. So let's talk about these toes. So they look like claws, so it's okay if you call them claws too. So we're going to start with a little bit of a black that connects to the foot here, okay? And then we're gonna slowly from the top down, we're gonna make basically like a half moon, okay? And you're using black for this. And again, if this makes you nervous, paint all of it and then go back with just a permanent marker. If I'm just doing oh, I guess that's not a half moon. I guess it's a crescent moon. Sorry, I think I should know that. Okay, so our two-toed sloth, just like that. I need to finish her little fur here before I can do this other one. And then because once I add the paint to it, it'll be hard to. So when it comes to the vines, it's just essentially grabbing some paint and swirling. I use the brown that I use for the log, but if you don't want to use that, you can use something else. Paper towel go. There we go. The easiest way to do vines is to think about how they would be, you know, kind of curling. So I'll do it here with a dry brush. So if I were a vine, I would start from somewhere and I would end somewhere. So decide that first. So if I'm doing a vine this way, I might go this way and then I might curl. So I turn and I stop. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that and hopefully not type on my computer here. I'm really hoping I didn't actually get paint on my computer, but I might have. Okay, so the best way to mark it is to start and end, right? So that's where I want my vine to start. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to turn my brush, and I'm going to go like that. Okay? And you can do those all over. I can show you how to do a pretty leaf off of that if I can get this to not fall on me. There we go. I think this green is too dry. Oh, yes, ma'am. So I discovered that not only is my brown very brown, but my green, my light green is very light green. So I'm going to take a little bit of my light green, about a teaspoon, and I'm going to mix some of my dark green in there. And when I say mix, I mean, I'm going to put 3 dots in there. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean right here. So light green and then 3 dots of dark green in there. And the only brush I have left that's clean is this big guy. So I'm going to try it with this one, but a medium brush could work. Probably need to throw some brushes in the water so I can run some out. All right, so I have my vine. Let's see here. Get in the light there. I have my vine here, right? Now, much like the vine, we're going to tell this leaf where to go. So we're going to put our paintbrush down. It's going to have one little bit of green in there, and then we're going to swoop. Okay, and you can make it a little bit bigger. Swoop. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Ready? A little blop. And then we're going to go swoop. And then you're going to fill in that middle part. Okay? Now this is still a little transparent. And if you wanted to have those really nice, pretty tropical leaves, what you could do is come through and, you know, kind of paint the background white where you wanted your other leaves. So like over here, you could just put a little bit of white there and then paint your green leaf on there. But I want to show you this technique one more time. So right here, and then we're going to go swoop and then swoop. And the smaller your swoop is, the smaller your leaf is. The bigger your swoop, the bigger your leaf. Now I'm thinking that maybe in the topper, when I finish doing my background, I might want to add some of this kind of like light green in there. Just a thought. All right, so let's talk about some finishing touches. So we would continue to paint this whole thing and add all that beautiful texture to our sloth, and we'd finish painting the background and all that. But there's something that makes all paintings like this really pop, and it's the details. And so one detail that I always recommend adding to paintings with things with eyes is a bit of white to their eye. So think about when you see, say, an anime character, right? They have a little like dazzle in their eye, right? A little sparkle. So if you do that same technique that I taught you earlier about just taking the end of your brush and dotting it, you can give them that little sparkle, right? You can do the same thing over here. Make sure you don't do black on there. Just like that. Okay? So that's pretty much it. You're just going to repeat those techniques all around your painting and take your time and think about, you know, how do you add texture? Because that's the difference between, you know, I guess watercolor and this form of painting, is that you can really add a lot of the texture to these animals and these things. So maybe your, you know, your log gets a little bit of, oh, you can't get the white on there. Hold on a sec. Maybe your log gets a little white on there, and gets to brush out, mixed in with that. So play around with it, have some fun. I'm gonna blend that. It's already looking really light there. I can't hear, so I don't know what we're doing. Ella, if you can't hear, we have the recording of this premiering on YouTube right now. You can watch the full recording, and I promise you can hear that one. Sorry you can't hear it. Any more questions? I see some raised hands. Let's see if I can get mine. So that was the one we worked on tonight. I will finish that tomorrow. And then this was my finished product. And I put and I made a little flower for her. Maybe her name should be Sadie. I think that's a cute name. You got one. Okay. So maybe I'll go through. I'll show you guys how to do one of these on here. Whoop. Savannah. You want me to name it Savannah? Well, I have two sloths. I could name one Savannah and one Sadie. I do like that name, Savannah. I know 2 Girl Scouts named Savannah. And our founder was born in Savannah, Georgia. So I'm just going to keep going through and showing you guys how I made those leaves. And see, I didn't do that pretty texture on this sloth's fur like I did the other one. So like I might come through and do this tomorrow. That adds a pretty texture. Shara. Oh, I like that name too. Serena, Savannah, Daisy. You know, we actually had a naming contest for our giant sloths. Our product department got these big sloths, and they're giving them away to girls in our council if they sell fall product. It's like a raffle or something. It's pretty cool. And I think one of them is named Savannah. Do you guys know? Mary, do you know? Do you remember what the sloths are named?
Isn't it Coco, the big one?
Oh, it is Coco. Well, there's 3 of them and they all have names, but I don't remember what they are. One of them is Coco. Grandma's Coco. Uh-oh. Ooh, my camera. Hold on, guys. Okay. So I'm going to need to sign off soon. So if you have questions, I'd like you to ask them now. And if you have ongoing questions, you can go ahead and email us at program@girlscoutsccs.org. I almost gave out the wrong email address. And you know where to get the templates if you need them. Yes, if you are all done, you can go.
Thank you for coming, girls. And don't forget to clean up your space. This will be the last time your parents let you do something like this if you make a mess on your space and then don't clean it up. Oh, I like those leaves much better. Good night. She said she couldn't hear, but then she says good night. I'm confused. Ooh. Break the phone.
While you guys were working on sloths, I was working on something else. But it was painting. I was doing my try at the Hocus Pocus book.
Oh.
I made my own. I wanted to do a test trial to see how it would turn out. So it turned out pretty cool.
Neat.
Bye, girls.